Welcome back. This is Tyrell from the Nosebleeds. Just want to say thank you all for watching the NFC North Division video. Got some good numbers for a very small channel, so I'm very happy and excited about that. Please just hit the like button, subscribe, comment, share, anything like that. Any critiques, I'm all for it. Just want to help this channel grow. Doing this for a hobby, but nonetheless, still want this channel to grow. Today, a little bit late on this. This was supposed to be done like last week, but had a collab fall through. But nonetheless, AFC West Division preview: the Denver Broncos, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Los Angeles Chargers. So let's start off with the Denver Broncos. Went 10-7 last year. Was the 7th seed in the AFC conference on their side of the playoffs. Got in by beating Kansas City when Kansas City started a bunch of backups. But nonetheless, the Broncos went 10-7. They went ahead and got Evan Ingram from the Jacksonville Jaguars. A good tight end, had some injury issues last year, and Jacksonville decided to let him go ahead and walk. They signed J.K. Dobbins, running back from the Los Angeles Chargers, and I actually got his pronunciation written down here because I would not have gotten this at all. And then they proceeded to sign Talua. Wow, I got it right here. Talanoa Hufanga. So Talanoa Hufanga, safety from the San Francisco 49ers. Key losses for the Denver Broncos: Lil Jordan Humphrey went to the New York Giants. Javonte Williams, running back, went to the Dallas Cowboys, and Cody Barton, linebacker, went to the Tennessee Titans. Their draft added some key players, added a defensive back, added some running backs. They focused on the defensive side of the ball and then added a couple of pieces, a couple of weapons for Bo Nix. But let's go down in order. They started off with Jahdae Barron, defensive back from the University of Texas. R.J. Harvey, running back from UCF. Pat Bryant, wide receiver from Illinois. Savion Jones, edge rusher from LSU. Q Robinson, linebacker from Alabama. Jeremy Crenshaw, punter from the University of Florida. And Caleb Lohner, tight end from Utah University. Think about Caleb. Caleb played basketball as well. He went and played for Baylor University and then transferred to BYU before transferring over to the University of Utah, and actually switched over from playing basketball to playing football. He averaged about like 6.5 points per game throughout his collegiate career. So you got a multi-athlete guy. We're not strange at all. Our generation is not strange at all for tight ends to play basketball, to play other sports, to come in and play tight end and be pretty decent, or if not extremely successful in the league. A prime example of that is Antonio Gates, Hall of Famer Antonio Gates. Went undrafted, played basketball at Kent State University, switched over to tight end, became a Hall of Famer. So pretty good sign right there. Not saying Caleb Lohner is going to be a Hall of Famer, but you got a guy that played basketball, so which means he has a vertical on that football field. Key games for the Denver Broncos: the Tennessee Titans, Cincinnati Bengals, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Houston Texans, the Washington Commanders, and the Green Bay Packers. To me, I think they split the division, beat the Indianapolis Colts. I think they squeak out a victory against Cincinnati. That's a toss-up game. Green Bay is also a toss-up game, but I got them beating Green Bay. I got them beating the Giants and the New York Jets. 8-9 record, -2. I think they slightly overachieved. I expect a bit of a sophomore slump. I know they got Cortland Sutton. He had best season for him, and Bo Nix played exceptionally well, especially down the stretch. He played pretty good and was starting to look like he's worthy of that pick. Do I think Bo Nix is worthy of the first round pick and is going to be a good quarterback in this league? Yes. Do I think he's going to have a sophomore slump? Yes. Two things can be true, and I think that's what's going to happen with the Denver Broncos. They go from 10-7 to 8-9, -2 win differential for the Denver Broncos. Moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs, the 3-time defending AFC champions. They went back to back. They are A team that's obviously loaded. They're going to be favorites every single year. They have proven that they're going to be favorites every single year. They had a busy, re-signing guys onto their team, and just want to say this about Kansas City. I don't think a lot of people realize this, but Kansas City went the furthest than any franchise that was going for the three-peat. Most of the time, teams that went for the three-peat got knocked out in the second round or the conference round, or, that was kind of like the ceiling. If you were going for the three-peat, the best you would probably get is the conference round. Kansas City was the first team going for a three-peat in the Super Bowl era that made it to the Super Bowl, but nonetheless lost 40-22 in the Super Bowl last year. But they went ahead and signed some guys on their team. Or I should say, brought guys back to their team. They brought back Nick Bolton, linebacker. They re-signed Kareem Hunt. Now, Kareem Hunt don't expect him to be, he's not going to be the starting running back, obviously. But they used Kareem Hunt a lot last year in goal line situation or short yardage situations. We got a 3rd and 1, maybe a 4th and 1. We know that Kareem Hunt can get that yard or two that we need to get. They re-signed Juju Smith-Schuster, wide receiver. Franchise tag Trey Smith, offensive guard. Matter of fact, it is the only franchise tag that I've seen out of all 32 teams. They're the only, from what I've seen, and by the way, my source is Over the Cap. That's where I get my sources as far as acquisitions and the contracts and stuff like that. So go check that website out. They're not sponsored, but still a great website nonetheless. But from all the teams that I studied, they have, did they extend them? Did they sign them? Did they trade for them or trade them away? Whatever maybe they have, in the you can call it spreadsheet, whatever you want to call it. They have how they acquire the player, and doing these previews, I had studied the offseason moves of all 32 teams. Kansas City, the only one that used the franchise tag from what I saw. Now, maybe something slipped my eyes. Again, it's 32 teams. It's a lot of players. And mind you, I'm doing, again, key additions. I think a part of that is how many snaps they played or what role they played in their team. So I missed some guys, obviously. But only team I saw with a franchise tag was Kansas City. They used that on Trey Smith. And they was able to poach Kristen Fulton, defensive back. They poached him from their division rivals, the Los Angeles Chargers. Key losses to me, again, trading Joe Thuney, offensive guard to Chicago. We talked about him yesterday. He's the 4th best offensive guard in the entire league. So clearly they wanted to go youth with their offensive line, but I don't see how you justify, at least from an outside perspective, I don't see how you justify trading Joe Thuney. But they did anyway. They lost DeAndre Hopkins to the Baltimore Ravens. We talked about him in the AFC North video where we talked about it seemed like Baltimore is kind of trying to find that veteran wide receiver piece. They try to do it with Odell. Now they're doing it with DeAndre Hopkins. They did it with Sammy Watkins earlier on, a few years back. So Baltimore's doing the same thing. We're not talking about Baltimore, but DeAndre Hopkins did sign with the Baltimore Ravens. They lost Justin Reed to the New Orleans Saints. They lost Trayshawn Wharton, defensive tackle. They lost him to the Carolina Panthers, and they lost Justin Watson, wide receiver, for the Houston Texans. He signed to the Houston Texans. Excuse me. For the draft, Kansas City drafted Josh Simmons, offensive tackle from the University of Ohio State. Then they went ahead and got Omar Norman Lott, defensive tackle from the University of Tennessee. Ashton Gillette, edge rusher from the University of Louisville. Noel Williams, defensive back to California. He went to California. Jalen Royals, wide receiver. He came from Utah State. Reading up on him, they are really excited about Jalen Royals. They are really excited. Patrick Mahomes is starting to trust him. Andy Reid is starting to like him. The entire offensive staff is loving what he's bringing to the table. So if we're not paying attention, if you guys are not paying attention, and everybody goes, where did this Jalen Royals guy come from out of nowhere? Just know I'm calling it now. He might be more more of a threat or more of a reliable piece in their offense than a lot of people are paying attention to. I've not been seeing a lot of people talk about Jalen Royals. I've seen a lot of experts talk about him. I've seen a lot of the coaching staff talking highly of him. But as far as us fans, I haven't really seen a lot of it. So I have my eyes on Jalen Royals. He's having a very good training camp so far. Then he went ahead and drafted Jeffrey Bassa, linebacker from Oregon, and Bashard Smith, running back from Southern Methodist University. Key games. Big game of the entire NFL season. I know we got Buffalo and Baltimore week 1. I know we got Pittsburgh and Green Bay. But Super Bowl rematch. Kansas City, Philadelphia. Don't just get your popcorn ready. Get the Twizzlers. Get the popcorn. Get the Twizzlers. Get the snow caps. Get the Diet Coca-Cola. Get some water. Please drink water. Stay hydrated. Get all movie snack Pop Rocks. Get them all. Get them all. Get a nice comfortable seat. Make sure it's nice and warm. And put that TV on. Kansas City and Philadelphia. Must see television. I mean, this is like The Rock and Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18. This is like Rock and Austin at WrestleMania 17. This is like Rock and Cena at WrestleMania 28. Big game. Emphasis on that. Everybody's watching. I know it's obvious that it's an emphasis on it, but we gotta make sure that we highlight it, baby. We gotta make sure we highlight it. So they played the Philadelphia Eagles. Then we gotta highlight them playing against the Baltimore Ravens. Then we gotta highlight that they're playing against the Detroit Lions. Then the Washington Commanders. Philadelphia, Super Bowl rematch. Baltimore went to the division round. Detroit was the number 1 seed in the NFC. Washington went to the conference championship. Then they played Buffalo. Get your popcorn ready. Get your snow caps ready. Get your sour gummy worms. Get your gummy bears ready. Get your snack. Matter of fact, make some burgers on the grill. Make some hot dogs on the grill. Because you're going to be sitting on that couch eating for a very long time with these key games. I know I'm making emphasis, but it's Kansas City playing against all these playoff teams. And they're gonna be big games. They're gonna be huge must-see games that everybody will be watching, that everybody will be talking about. They also played Dallas. That's a key game. And I know I made a mistake. If you guys can see it, I made a mistake by putting Washington on there twice. In fact, let's go ahead and erase that. Hit record. I just realized I did that twice. To me, they sweep Las Vegas. They split with Denver and the Los Angeles Chargers. They beat the New York Giants, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they edge out a win against the Detroit Lions. I think they can beat Washington, beat Dallas, beat Tennessee, and they beat Houston. I got them going 11-6. I don't, like I say, if we're basing it, I know a lot of teams, I know Super Bowl teams, Super Bowl rematches is different when they, compared to what it is. Like I said, I really like Philadelphia. You guys checked out the NFC East video. I really like Philadelphia's team this year and the acquisition that they made this year. So I do got Philadelphia beating them, but again, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Buffalo, all games that can go either way. I got them going 11-6, a -4 win differential, and a part of that is just because, again, the normal wear and tear. They've been 4 straight Super Bowls, 3 straight Super Bowls, or 4 out of the last 5 they've gone. They've gone as deep as the AFC Championship game since 2018. The stuff got to wear down at some point. The black voodoo magic got to stop. The referee favoritism got to stop. I don't want to hear that statistic. We know what we watching here. We know what our eyes see. 11-6. I don't see nothing wrong with that with the Kansas City Chiefs, especially they're starting to phase out Travis Kelce a little bit here and there. I don't see nothing wrong with that record at all. So let's go ahead and flip this board. Be right back. All right, board is flipped. Got me a little drink of water. Let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders now. 4-13 last year. They extended Max Crosby, top 5 edge rushers in the league, to a 4-year deal. They traded for Geno Smith, quarterback from. They traded with Washington to get Geno Smith. Obviously, immediate upgrade at quarterback, but he is on the older side. They They signed Pete Carroll. He is going to be the new head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. They went ahead and got Alex Kappa, offensive guard from Cincinnati. His PFF is not very high at all. Matter of fact, he ranks very low in PFF. He was like 114th out of 136 guards. So But then again, he played a lot of snaps for Cincinnati. Now, if I kind of talked a little bit highly of him in the AFC North video, that was before I did PFF grades or looked up PFF grades for the offensive lineman. But let's see how it works. People can improve sometimes. They signed Jermaine Pratt, linebacker from Cincinnati. Raheem Mostert, running back from Miami. That is, to me, he adds to the running game. Don't need him to go out there and carry the ball 25, 30 times. Bring him out there for 5 to 10 carries, maybe even 12, and let him get those yards when Genty's a little bit tired. You got another solid power running back to come in and keep punishing those defenses. Jeremy Chin, safety from Washington, and E.J. Stokes, defensive back from Green Bay. Key losses: they lost Robert Spillane, linebacker to the New England Patriots. They lost Andre James, center, to the Los Angeles Chargers. John Jenkins, defensive tackle, they lost him to Baltimore. And Trayvon Moherg, safety, he went to the Carolina Panthers. Ashton Genty, running back, went first round for the Las Vegas Raiders. To me, probably wins Heisman if it wasn't for Travis Hunter's excellent, and historic Heisman year. A lot of people were clamoring for Ashanti Genty. A lot of people were saying, oh, if Ashanti would have played at Alabama, if he would have played at LSU, if he played at Ohio State, he probably wins the Heisman. But he didn't win the Heisman. I believe he finished second. But again, Raiders got a great pickup. They got a great pickup in this. And if you're looking down and looking at the record, like as I see, I'm going to explain why. They drafted Jack Beck, wide receiver from TCU. What a story for him as well. I know he's probably still dealing with a lot with his brother. He lost his brother in the tragedy that happened in New Orleans on New Year's Day. He had a good Senior Bowl. A lot of coaches were high on him, and he just has a good heart. He plays pretty good. I'm curious to see where he's going to go with his career and what he's going to do this year. They drafted Darren Porter, defensive back from Iowa State University. Caleb Rogers, offensive lineman from Texas Tech. Then they went ahead and drafted Charles Grant, offensive tackle from William and Mary. Dante Thornton Jr., wide receiver from Maryland. Tonka Hemingway, defensive tackle from the University of South Carolina. J.J. Puigs, defensive tackle from Ole Miss. I believe that's how you pronounce that. Tommy Malott, wide receiver from Montana State. Cam Miller, quarterback from North Dakota State University. And Cody Lindenberg, linebacker from the University of Minnesota. I just want to point this out about North Dakota State. These guys, regardless of what happens in their careers, over the last, 10 years, 11 years, they produced 3 quarterbacks to come into this draft. You're talking about an FCS school that does not get a lot of national attention. Let's be honest, nobody on ESPN really talks about them. They don't get favored when they play against FBS teams. But North Dakota State, they're a powerhouse, and they're very good. And they've gotten 3-4 quarterbacks to come out and play or be drafted into the NFL. Carson Wentz, Trey Lance, and now Cam Miller. And I swear there's one more, but I know those are the 3 for sure. Those are the 3 for sure as well. And like I said, they drafted Cody Lindenberg from the University of Minnesota. Key games, not a lot for the Las Vegas Raiders. New England, Chicago, Cleveland, and the New York Giants. Adams splitting with Denver and the Los Angeles Chargers, the New England Patriots, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Cleveland Browns with a 5-12 record. I know they also re-signed Isaiah Palamu, the nephew of Troy Polamalu, and I actually like him. He's just a bit of a liability in the passing game, and I know they also got, I forgot to put on the board, I know they also got Jamal Adams. Shout out to Raider Ragu for that one. Also, if you are Raiders fans, I will put up the promotional card up there, but please go and watch and subscribe and follow the Raider Ragu Show on YouTube, on Spotify for your Raiders news, updates, predictions and reviews and everything like that. My boy Raider Ragu does an excellent job with the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm pretty sure I have made Raider Ragu and my boy Ant pretty mad with the 5-12 record. I just don't think at the end of the day, I know they got Max Crosby, I know they got Geno Smith, I know that they got Ashanti Genty. I just don't see this team winning 5 games. I mean, more than 5 games. I just don't. I look at their schedule. I don't think their team is strong enough to win more than 5. I could be very wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong, because when I was doing these predictions, right, and when I was writing out the wins for the Las Vegas Raiders, I legitimately questioned myself. I'm pulling up their schedule right now. I had to question myself, and I questioned myself because, am I right about this? Like, I swear this team could be stronger than what I'm predicting here, right? I think they're stronger than this. I think they're stronger than a 5-win team. But then I look at their schedule. They play the Patriots. I think they can beat the Patriots. I think they split with the Los Angeles Chargers. Then they play the Commanders. Commanders is a better team than them. Then they play the Chicago Bears. I think Chicago's a better team than them. Then they play the Colts. Colts is a 50-50 game. That might be a game the Colts walk away with. But also, Las Vegas got a better quarterback. So I might change that and put them at 6-11 and put the Colts at 5-12. But right now, I didn't want to change anything just because I already did the videos on the other divisions and just decided not to change anything. Then they play the Tennessee Titans. That's another toss-up game. But then they got Kansas City. I have them beating Jacksonville. They play Denver. I have them splitting one of those games. They play Dallas. I don't think they're strong enough to beat Dallas. I think they're good enough to beat the Cleveland Browns. I think a lot of teams are good enough to beat the Cleveland Browns. It's the Cleveland Browns. They're my team. I love my Browns. Don't get it twisted. Well, if that's your team, why would you crap on them? You're not a true fan. You can be realistic and still be a fan. Okay? And then they play the Eagles. They play Houston. And I think New York can possibly squeak out a win. So, I mean, when I looked at their schedule, and I looked at the other teams that they played, and I thought to myself, well, New York has a lot of young talent, and New York has the quarterback, depending on, like, I know they play the Giants later on in the season, so they might see Jackson Dart, don't know. But, I mean, I don't have New York much better than the Las Vegas Raiders. I got New York at 6-11. I kind of felt wrong putting them at 5-12, but they got that stretch where they play Philadelphia and they play Houston. And they play Kansas City twice. And I don't have them sweeping Denver and don't have them sweeping the Los Angeles Chargers. Raiders fans, I apologize. If you're mad at me, you're just going to have to be mad at me. And I hope I'm wrong because I'm really rooting for this team, except for when they play the Browns. You know, and I'll tell you a little bit something about me personally, in a sense of my father grew up as a Raiders fan. My father grew up in Richmond, California, in that area. They were diehard Raider fans. Diehard Raider fans. And my father's one of them, so I've always had a little special place for the Raiders. And I love their history. I love their aura. Like, the Raiders, like, if I didn't have the Browns, I'd probably root for the Raiders and be miserable as well. But I just don't see it. Again, preview, predictions. I just don't see it. So I got the Raiders going 5-12, which is an improvement. It's an improvement, which is the crazy part. It's an improvement over last year. And they could get 7 wins. They could actually go 8-9. Like, I really do believe that the games that I have them losing, they're not losing by much or they're not losing at all. It's like toss-up games, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to give the edge to this team. I give the edge to the Giants. I give the edge to Jacksonville. Well, actually, I had them beating Jacksonville, excuse me. But I have them giving the edge, but then they got to play the Commanders. They got to play Dallas. They got to play Philadelphia. Like, Dallas is a solid team, and I know what's going on with the Micah Parsons situation, and that changes a lot, and see where Micah Parsons go, which, by the way, if you guys watch the NFC East video, you'll notice that I don't mention Micah Parsons trade because that news broke as I was recording, and I didn't check my phone. So I recorded it, I uploaded it, and next thing you know, boom, Micah Parsons is requesting a trade. We got to see how that goes. That could change everything. But 5-12, I think that's to me, this is one of the records where I'm like, this is like the floor. What's on the board for the Raiders is their floor. I don't think 5 wins is their ceiling at all. I think that's the best way to explain it. I think 5-12 is like the worst case scenario. I don't think this team is worse than a 5-win team, but I do think they're better than a 5-win team. I hope that makes sense. All right, moving on to the final team, the Los Angeles Superchargers, if you want to call them that. We know what happened with them last year. They got spanked by the Houston Texans in that wild card game. But they re-signed Khalil Mack, edge rusher, to a 1-year deal. They re-signed Bradley Bozeman, center, to a 2-year deal. They signed Andre James, center, from Las Vegas. They signed Dante Jackson from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tyler Conklin coming over from the New York Jets. Maybe they're looking for some productivity, maybe the productivity that the Jets were looking for, but they didn't quite get. They're hoping to get that with Tyler Conklin. They got Najee Harris, running back from Pittsburgh. Let's see how that goes. We know he got hurt during the 4th of July. I have not seen anything about him getting a lot of reps. That's why, when we get to our draft, this is where I expect another rookie running back starting in this division. They went ahead and got Mekhi Becton, offensive guard from Philadelphia. Benjamin St. Just, defensive back from Washington. And just about 3-4 hours ago, we talked about him in the NFC North video about we don't know where Keenan Allen was going to go. We briefly talked about him going to the Chargers facility and talking with them. He's back with the Los Angeles Chargers, coming over from the Chicago Bears. Los Angeles Chargers, I know a lot of fans really love him and are really excited to have him back. He adds, I know he's not himself, like his prime self, but he still adds a little bit to the offense. Key losses, Joey Bosa is their biggest loss. They lost him to the Buffalo Bills. He's going to add so much to that Bills team, especially if he stays healthy. Morgan Fox, linebacker, he went to Atlanta. Christian Fulton, we talked about him going to Kansas City. And J.K. Dobbins, we talked about him going to the Denver Broncos. Their draft, they drafted Amarion, let me hold you, Hampton, running back from the University of North Carolina. He's more than likely going to be the week 1 starter for them. Trey Harris, wide receiver from Ole Miss. Jamari Caldwell, defensive tackle from Oregon. Kyle Kennard, edge rusher from the University of South Carolina. Keandre Lambert-Smith, wide receiver from the University of Auburn. Orande Gadsden, the second, tight end from Syracuse University. Branson Taylor, offensive tackle from the University of Pittsburgh. RJ Micken, safety from Clemson. And Trequez Bridges, safety from the University of Florida. Key games for the Los Angeles Chargers: Washington Commanders, the Miami Dolphins, the Minnesota Vikings, Pittsburgh Steelers, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the wild card rematch against the Houston Texans. Do I have them beating the Houston Texans? Yeah. Maybe a little bit of revenge game. Maybe they sneak one out. Or maybe Justin Herbert shits the bed again against Houston. I don't know. It seemed like when Houston played in the wild card round, they're a completely different team. But yeah, have them split in the division, beating the New York Giants, squeaking out a win against the Washington Commanders, the Miami Dolphins, the Indianapolis Colts, Tennessee Titans, Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Houston Texans, which I believe Indy, Tennessee, Jacksonville. I have them sweeping the AFC South. Just realized that. Going 10-7, which is a -1 win differential. They went 11-6, went 10-7. I think they possibly, the team that I really think they might not win, I just threw like, hey, this is a strong possibility they might win. They might come in a little motivated. Was Houston? I think they're better than Tennessee, Indianapolis, and Jacksonville, but I think they'll lose to Houston. So I got 10-7, maybe 9-8 record for the Los Angeles Chargers. So that's it. That's the AFC West. 7 down. 7 down. 7 down. 1 more to go, and that's the NFC West, which should be dropping this week. So, like I say, my collab comes through for the NFC West. We're done with the whiteboard for now. Done with the whiteboard. We're going to get that last division in as well. And we just thank you all for, I just thank you. It's just me. I just thank you for watching, for sharing, for liking, and subscribing. Matter of fact, what we're going to do with this channel is, and it's actually going to get uploaded tonight, we're going to do a state of address for the channel, talk about some video ideas, and just talk about like the progress of the channel. I just want to thank you all for watching. This is Tyrell from the Nosebleeds, signing off.